Hello and welcome to Let's Run Facebook Ads, the podcast with myself, Nick Boddington, and James Urquhart, there hasn't been an James Urquhart for quite a while. How you doing?
Guess who's back?
Good. Guess who's back?
Again.
Guess who's back? Without further ado, I'm just going to go for a little bit of a little hook here. If you're having trouble running your Facebook ads and you are literally looking at your screen saying, how can I make this work? And you think I might be able to help, then go to theadsclinic.com, fill in the form, go to the calendar, book in your call, and I'll go on for 30 minutes, look at your ads, and let's see if we can fix something. And then to get some money out of you, you can pay me for 1 hour every week, and we can, well, hopefully get you very, very successful in your Facebook ads. But let's get into the pod.
Yeah. Right. So today we're going to discuss the top 5 ways to target over 50s on social media, because we've had some fantastic results within this marketplace recently. And I thought, for people listening to this, who potentially target that market, we could give them some insight. So that, Nick, is what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. So even if you think, well, so you had thinking about your intro then into if you target that kind of marketplace, someone might go, oh, well, I don't know. Even candles are going to get bought by that marketplace. You were at a caravan show yesterday and you text me saying, this is literally 55 plus marketplace. And then you said that you saw a will writer who had a stand at the caravan show.
Yeah. So I was at the NEC, which is in Birmingham, and it's a big exhibition centre. And yeah, me and my other half went to the caravan camping and camper van show, because we've now got a camper van.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe, essentially, apart from us and maybe a couple of our families, everyone was over 55 easily. But what even shocked me even more was the volume and the amount people were paying for certain items. Like, I'm talking, Nick, serious money. This wasn't the £2 coffee. These were anything to do with, that.
But it's normal if you've had half a good life, not even like you've not been rolling it and super wealthy. If you've done all right and you've had a good middle class job, I'd say something like that. Like, think about your life now. Okay, you've got your daughter, you've got a schooling to think about, all that sort of stuff. So you're not thinking about, you're looking at price to everything, going, oh, you just don't know what's around the corner. On my point of view, obviously my kids are a little bit older and it's coming to the end. When they've gone, the amount of disposable income that you'll have back again, and then when they've moved out, you're talking 55, 60, mortgages are pretty much going to be paid off. They might have some other properties which are paid off. That's bringing an income stream. Do you know what I mean? If you're in the world of having a camper van or a mobile home, you've just spanked out 100 grand on a mobile home, 150, 200.
Oh yeah, Nick, like I said, I was quite taken aback. That's why I said to you today, let's jump on here and discuss it, because I was shocked, because it wasn't just a cheap deck chair. These were expensive deck chairs and people were buying them, 160 quid chairs. Like, I'm talking, there was some serious money being flashed around, and no one was batting an eyelid. Like, I spoke to one guy, Helix, I think the name was, which was a deck chair type product. I said, how much are these? 160. Nick, I nearly fell on his chair, let alone off it. I couldn't believe it. And he said, what? He said, no one blinks an eyelid, mate. He said, you're the only one who in the last 2 days have said something about the cost. No one's even pondered, which I was just taken aback. But going back at obviously what we've done quite a few ads for, again, going into that market, haven't we? And I just wanted to go through to the top 5 things what we've seen and how we at the moment are looking at, again, how to bring people into our clients' ecosystem. So the first thing I want to discuss is actually, where are they residing? Where are over 50s currently sitting on social media?
Yeah.
And the reality is it's on Facebook, isn't it?
Well, so I was going to say, if you think about what makes a social network successful, and there are plenty out there that we never ever come across, but let's focus on the one that's successful. Facebook, then you have Instagram, then you have TikTok, you have Snapchat, and essentially when these social networks start, they're catered for. Look at TikTok. It started out as Musically, which was essentially a little sharing app of 14-year-old girls singing to their favorite pop songs. The lyrics come on the screen, they can sing over the instrumental music, record it. That then becomes TikTok. It's now world dominating. And what will happen is it's the younger generation that make an app successful, but then that app has to monetize. Now, the 14-year-olds don't have any money. The 18-year-olds don't have any money. The early 20s are starting to maybe spend a bit online, but it's the 30 plus marketplace really that are they're the ones who are spending. So as soon as the app starts getting to the point where the age group's higher, and I think TikTok, I mean, don't quote me on the absolute stat, but it was ridiculous. We were in shock when we saw how many 50-year-olds were already using TikTok.
Well, it's their biggest growth market. TikTok at the moment, their largest growth market is over 50s. But if I throw some stats to you,
well, I'll just finish quickly.
Go on,
so just going into that thing. So then when that marketplace is on it, that's when the advertising platforms start developing the advertising processes, because that's when the business, the commerce come to go, we're going to make some cash out of advertising to the people who've got the money.
Oh, you're absolutely right. So in terms of where they're residing, so 82% of 45 to 54-year-olds currently have an active Facebook page.
What percentage?
82.
82%.
Nick, it's freaking
that is
massive.
Because like, think about yourself. And I know that I'm on it more than you guys are, but even like you think of people we know. Okay, let Dan, yeah, DOD. At no point in his life is he going to go to Facebook. He'll have Facebook. Same as Instagram. A lot of people just don't do it, do they? 82%.
Well, Nick, these are active, so you've got to remember these are daily active users.
They're going in.
Freaking Nick is big, and 55% of 55 to 64-year-olds have a daily active account. Now, what we are seeing is that as the age increases, that percentage does decrease. But if you were to think that, your market or your product or service can cater to over 45-year-olds, well, there they are. You need to be on Facebook. That's the reality. It's huge, isn't it? It's
and there's so many industries. Jewelry. I mean, look at our jewelry client. When we've looked at their stats, the most sales they get are from the 45 to 64 age group of women for jewelry. Yes, it's a slightly older type of jewelry. It's not, Pandora or whatever for the younger one, but that's their age group. You've got candles, you've got scents, you've got White Company, you've got all these sort of companies that are catering out to these people. That I look at my mother-in-law, she's on Facebook. I look at my mum, she's on Facebook. That's where they are. That's where they're hanging out. And the other thing is they're responsive to it.
Yes, there's two other platforms where they're quite active, which is WhatsApp and YouTube. So, and again, we've seen this ourselves, Nick. Something that's really working with this market is video content. Opposed to carousels, we're seeing actually video content work a lot more. And that's because, again, they're on there, and in a way, they sort of want to be educated in a way, don't they? But from a platform perspective, if you want to get to that audience, you've got to be on Facebook, because that's where they are apparently daily.
Daily, yeah. Well, it's mad,
isn't it?
And the thing that's also good about that marketplace is they won't be like moving between the platforms as much as the younger ones. On my day, I reckon I would consume, let's say it's an episode of something on Netflix. I'm probably educating myself and watching some stuff for maybe 40 minutes to an hour on YouTube. I'm on TikTok for about 20 minutes. I'm on Instagram for about 20 minutes. I'm not on Facebook that much, actually, because we said yesterday they've just launched the Reels, and we were like, is it going to work? But the older generation are on Facebook. That's the exciting part about it.
Yeah, they are. And in terms of Reels, actually, and something, again, my sort of top 5, the second tip that I've put down here, which is is you need to give a lot more product information. So again, back onto that education piece with video, what we're finding is having a clear and transparent benefit on every bit of content you put out. When we look in an engagement internally, it's superseding some of the other stuff we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said it, I've got a stat in front of me. 69% of over 50s following companies and brands to find out more about their products or services. Fulfilling the generation's need for clear, transparent benefits is key. That's really interesting, isn't it? Because they're actually adding it to their life opposed to just scrolling through stuff.
Well, but they're becoming emotionally attached, aren't they? Again, it's the people at over 45 haven't gone. If we look at the e-commerce space, they haven't had that one-day commerce where you buy a t-shirt once and throw it away. They haven't gone through that cycle, have they? They'd buy a t-shirt and want it to last as long as possible. They've bought into that brand.
Yeah,
they're not like the kids of today, or the kids in their 20s. They're not, their buying decisions are actual buying decisions opposed to fancy that tenner.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So but that's actually, so what I just read there is actually they're following. It shows that the funnel structure couldn't work more perfectly in that sort of generation for the whole getting someone in awareness, then getting them to consider it and nurturing them, et cetera, and then getting them to buy. But the interesting thing is of that, when we even talk about that, is that, so whenever we're building any of our ad campaigns for any client, we're always, especially on budgets, we're always trying to bring people in at the top of funnel. And guys, we're still using conversion to bring people in. We're not using traffic or anything, we're still conversions because we want to bring good people in. And it's still not that expensive. So you bring people in from the conversion point of view, then you're retargeting at middle of funnel, and then you're grabbing the purchase or the lead at bottom of funnel. But when we set this up for a hearing aid company recently in the last 2 months, and this is what's kind of this and some other things of what made us go, wow, this marketplace is awesome, is the fact that we set the whole ad campaign up with that middle of funnel, top of funnel structure, and middle of funnel got like turned off days into it because it was like they're all wanting, it was for a lead gen and it was on Facebook lead gen, and they're all wanting the offer the minute they saw the ad. We didn't even need to nurture them. We haven't even ran the rest of it because the top's working so well just to grab the info, grab the leads we want.
Which is bizarre because if you go back to how many times it takes to get in front of someone for them to make a decision, whether that's I'm going to fill in this form or go on purchase online, we say up to 7 touch points, don't we? The fact they're doing that on that first interaction is incredible. Now, is that down to the copy and creative we've done? I'm going to say yes because it's internal, so absolutely. But yeah, the fact that people have seen those offers and gone, yeah, I'm happy to fill in this form and take a call from someone. Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
The mad thing is as well is that I've been speaking to a few, which if people listen to the podcast, you'll see in the last over this one, there'll be a couple of guests that I'm having onto the podcast to go really deep into your Facebook ads. And we've been talking about Facebook forms. And I think the downside to Facebook forms, which we've always known, which we've always talked about, even though we're thinking that Facebook is going to bring everything completely into platform at some point, you'll still be able to obviously place ads to leave the platform. But I think Facebook needs people on the platform just from tracking purposes, iOS, Google, stuff that's coming in 2 years, all this sort of stuff, is that when you're pre-filling in Facebook, the information's not that accurate because it might be that I joined Facebook when bloody, I don't know, 15 years ago, more than that. And it's like, is it my same email? Now, mine's not my same email because obviously we're in the industry, it's work, so it's all up to date. But how many people have got the same, I don't know, love on the beach at hotmail.com from when they went traveling 15 years ago, and it's still the same email they've never gone into? Don't know where I got love on the beach from.
Have you been traveling?
Yeah, Thailand a few times.
Really?
Yeah, did a bit around the world trip.
I never knew that.
I've never told you in 15 years.
No, 15 years. You've never ever mentioned that you went to Thailand.
All right, we'll grab a beer and I'll talk you through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Third tip, Nick, is get real testimonials and real recommendations on your ads.
Yes, because of what we've just talked about, that person, they want recommendations. They are going to be a lot more cautious about buying something.
Massively, and especially if it's, a hearing aid or a high ticket item. Again, these aren't 20 somethings or late teens where they're used to just buying something quick on Amazon or online and it's delivered tomorrow. These are real people making real decisions, which
Yeah.
is, so again, those testimonials or recommendations, they need to be real. They can't be fabricated, they can't be made up, but you need to make sure they're answering the questions that they are going to have themselves. So if that 45, 50-year-old person has given and potentially has 1 of 5 questions, we'll get those 1 of 5 answers within your testimonials.
Yeah, absolutely. So write down the objections. If you know your business, and you know your marketplace, and you know your customers, and you know the people who haven't become customers, you're going to know your objections. So you need to write a list of those objections and then answer those objections. In sales copy, if you emails, sales letters, or whatever, you answer those objections. So I would bring this in at middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. So you're bringing people in, getting them aware of your product, the benefits from it, introducing yourself, and then showing people the product again, but what other people's recommendations have come from, or success stories from it, etc. They want social proof. I mean, when you think of your caravan example, the caravan show, those people have already decided that they love going caravanning, they love mobile homes, they love all this, they love that sector. They're going to spend probably 5 trips a year in whatever they're using. Anything that comes up in that marketplace, they're going to want to buy. They're sold into it, and they've got the disposable income. But at the same time, it's not like a lot of them won't be earning anymore. It's retirement income, isn't it? So it's like you've still got a certain amount. It's not you're going to have good months and bad months. It's they know, okay, we're going to set aside a couple of £100 every month to put aside for this sort of thing. They need 2 deck chairs, and they're happy to spend £300 on them.
Well, they're probably one of the only audiences that goes into something with a set budget, really.
Plus, those chairs would be bloody comfortable, £160, wouldn't they?
No, honestly, they were nuts, Nick. They were light as I could put 7 in my little rucksack and walk to the top of a mountain with these things.
Really?
Nick, that's why I guess they were so expensive. But I spoke to the guy. I said, "You're making some dough here." I said, "Oh, I'm just the agent. It's part of a bigger firm. I think it was a German firm." But they weren't that comfy, if I'm being pretty honest.
But the age group need it because they need to sit down every quarter of a mile or something if they're walking a lot and stuff like that, don't they?
Well, yeah, absolutely. My 4th tip, and I'm keen to get your thoughts on this. I've put to prioritize customer service.
Yeah. This is after the ad, isn't it? This is when someone's potentially about to do business with someone, yeah?
Yeah, so this is, where would you put that? So, where would you put that within the ad structure? Because again, I know we've obviously discussed testimonials just now, but in terms of that customer service, especially for some high ticket items, if you're going to buy a caravan or a camper van, or again, potentially a hearing aid, you're going to want to know that post conversion, or when I, purchase that product, I've got someone I can call. Like a lot of people, whether it's, it's essentially insurance, isn't it? I always class customer service as a bit of insurance. So where would you put that in the ad structure?
I think it's probably, I would have thought it's a different, you're going to be doing this like a middle of funnel kind of thing. And you're going to get someone and they're going to understand what your business is. And then you're going to middle of funnel, you're going to retarget them with book a call with one of our guys, one of our agents, and you're going to take them away from Facebook, and they're going to go to a landing page, and it's going to open a call calendar or something. And we see that a lot, don't we? I mean, you and I have been booking up. We're not old people, but we've been booking onto platforms, and the calling thing is big, isn't it? There's a lot of setting a call, setting a calendar call. I do it with people coming into our own ads clinic, things like this, and it's just a half an hour. You just sort of it's just that extra touch point that person can go. Now that person might try and close that deal on that phone call, which is great. And the thing is, from a tracking point of view on the ads, which is what we're all over at the moment, is custom audiences on telephone numbers, fixing it up to a CRM system. So no matter what happens in the, like, that was the point we're going to get to with this this hearing aids place, is that, they're setting appointments, they're getting sales. Those will go back into the CRM system. We need that to talk to Facebook, so that Facebook can then just not go out and find leads of someone who's been on the landing page and filled in the form, but leads of people who booked appointments, and then leads of people, all this sort of stuff. So middle of funnel, it's just another touch point, but if it's high ticket, you need to get someone on the call. We have clients who have high ticket stuff, and they want to get away from this. They want to get this evergreen, in quotes, sort of funnel, don't they? the problem is, I think when you're trying to sell something in the thousands, especially high ticket stuff, you're going to have to get on the phone with someone and actually make them feel safe.
Yeah, you do. But actually, something else I've noted here is from a customer service perspective, is if people are commenting on your ads or your organic posts and no one from the firm is actually commenting back,
Yeah.
I think that can be seen as a massive negative. Again, it brings in that customer service level. If someone's commenting X, Y, Z, you want to see that business come back, whether it's good or bad. You know, if it's negative, positive, it doesn't matter. You'd actually want to see them interacting with their audience.
We have it a lot with our clients, don't we? Where we're having to say, can you need to get back, because it actually affects the algorithm. It affects how Facebook sees you as a business. So you're trying to advertise on Facebook, and if you're leaving these comments and not getting back to people, Facebook sees that as a negative and will penalize you in some way with your ads.
Yeah.
Plus, it's going to get someone. It's going to start a conversation. That person's going to suddenly want to buy from you because you're positively creating conversation with them.
Yeah, definitely. Right, tip number 5, I've put to actual focus on an omni-channel experience. Now, this is again bringing in not just Facebook. You know, maybe it is TikTok, which we're seeing that growth. Maybe it is YouTube and WhatsApp ads. You know, maybe that is. But the reason why I've put that on there is from a social proof perspective. If someone's clicked on that hearing aid ad, or whether it's a caravan, you want to see them. You know, you want to try and bring that touch point volume, and you want to actually shorten it. So rather than be just on Facebook every time they log into Facebook, you want them to see. I want to see them on YouTube ads. I want to see them on Instagram if I do have Instagram, if I'm there. You know, YouTube ads, all that, and actually bring them. Just again, as we know, I say a lot, and you know, we say it internally, don't we? Huge amount of times. You've got to try and be omnipresent.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can do that with the platforms. Like we do that with clients, setting that sort of stuff up today with one particular client where, you know, we're creating a conversion channel coming through Facebook, getting them to read a blog. And then from there, as we're going to set up the audiences through Tag Manager, I know it goes deep, but it can be done. And it might be that you have to take an agency on or whatever to get these sort of things done. But then, you know, in the B2B world, they can see the ad, they can see another advert on LinkedIn, and then they do something on LinkedIn and then something back on Facebook. So suddenly you've got 2 channels where that person spending their time, especially in B2B market, you know, you need to look at where your customers are. I mean, this is one thing that I thought about the other day. People go, I want to advertise on Facebook. It's like, is your audience on Facebook? Like a lot of people are, but sometimes you've got to think about your product. Oh, we're talking about over 60s, absolutely. But, you know, if you're selling youngsters jewelry, are they on Facebook? They're going to probably be on TikTok, or they're going to be on Instagram. So I actually think about the platform people are on, but that digresses. So yeah, you can be on different platforms, and it is just setting up audiences and then custom audiences in using Tag Manager, which is, you know, yeah, it's pretty simple. You know how there's loads of instruction stuff. There's loads of YouTube videos on this sort of thing, and you can be quite clever with it all.
You can. So Nick, there were our top 5 ways to target the over 50s on social media.
Yeah. I would say that if you are going to do, one of the best audiences that we found actually, because a lot of interests are leaving the Facebook platform. So like hearing aids and things like that suddenly they're all leaving on the 17th. Now you're going to start hearing me doing a lot more videos on lookalikes, because lookalikes are really working again. Probably because Facebook's taking out interest. They're thinking, okay, we need to get lookalikes working. I've always thought there's a lot of stuff on YouTube and all this, lot of people saying that lookalikes don't work. They do work. The interests are getting harder and harder. But as a going out to a large audience, and large audiences are working, let's say you are selling something like, I don't know, candles or scarves or whatever to that, you know, that older generation are going to be interested in it. You can literally build a couple of ads based on women or men or both. Let's say it was scarves, women age 55 plus. That's it, UK wide, 14 million people in the audience. Just honestly, that was our winning audience for hearing aids, 55 plus. And it was coming through at like, I don't know, it was something like £6.71 a lead, compared to like the other audiences and interest and stuff like that, like £20, £12. So big audiences work. I'm going to be talking about this a lot on coming podcasts, but yeah, go to that 50 plus marketplace. Think about your product, think about whether it fits in there. If it does, do some ads specifically talking to that marketplace. Get out there. They're active.
Well, Nick, it's been great to see you on here again.
Great to have you back, James.
And we'll have to meet up and discuss your time in Thailand.
Yeah. To be fair, actually, just to be honest with everyone, I'm always sitting here. James is in his podcast studio now, which I still haven't even been into. You'll know that James does his extra car stuff, but because of this pandemic and how busy we are with growing the agency, probably only see each other about every 3 weeks.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Brings me every morning though.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Right, Nick. Everyone, top 5 ways to target over 50s on social media. If you want to know more, find us at letsrunsocial.com or on all the social platforms. Obviously, we're there as well. And hopefully we can help.
Brilliant. Have a good day.
Cheers, Nick.
See you, everyone. Bye.